Today we're going to jump into two of the premier semi-private golf course communities here and around Winston-Salem, North Carolina. We're going to check out Salem Glen in Clemmons, and then we're also going to check out Meadowlands, which is located in Wallburg. We're going to compare and contrast the golf courses, proximity to downtown Winston-Salem, the amenities that are offered, and more. So if you're into golf, if you're curious about where you should be living, make sure to stick around for this one. Also, if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe and click on the bell for further notifications to make sure you don't miss out on anything further driving Triad. We're going to begin over at Meadowlands Golf Club. So Meadowlands, where is it located? It's down in Wallburg in Davidson County, lower tax structure out there. And let's start with the golf course itself. This is a Hale Irwin Championship design, par 72, only about 6,800 yards, which doesn't seem very long by today's standards, but I will tell you that the fairways tend to retain a little bit of water out there, so this golf course generally plays longer than the yardage that is listed. I can tell you that from experience. There's lots of different dog legs out there left and right, so you need to hit good tee balls because there are a lot of strategically placed hazards from the second hole in the par 5 where you've got a creek running on the left, you've got the pond on the right, you've got out of bounds that's going to sneak in on holes 4 and 5. You've got the pond that comes back into play on 8, 10. The creek, meanders through the back 9 and some other strategically placed out of bounds. It's a great layout. It's really a ton of fun. You have Bermuda grass fairways, bent grass greens. If I had to knock anything out there at Meadowlands, can be the conditions at times. Fairways are generally in pretty good shape, but the greens can be a little bit slow and the bunkers, are not always raked perfectly. So if I had any knock on the golf course itself out there, it would just be the condition. If you're headed out there to Meadowlands, the signature hole, which is just absolutely beautiful, is gonna be number 10. As you're driving right through the middle of the community, you'll see the pond down there, and there's a tee box way set back up at 460 yards for the back tees. You gotta hit over the water. It's about a 250 yard carry. So you've got water right, you've got out of bounds left. If you're starting on number 10 and it's your first time out there, you're gonna be like, oh my God, this golf course is so hard. Believe me, it gets easier after that, but it is a absolutely beautiful golf hole and one that I'm sure you will remember. It's a great place to go ahead and get your day started, but it can be a little bit difficult. Now on the other side of things, let's jump over to Salem Glen. And as we mentioned, this one is on the border of Davidson County and Forsyth County. It is a par 71 as opposed to a par 72. The front's a par 36. It's pretty open, not a ton of trees on the front 9. You can kind of hit it around. You've got some water hazards here and there, but you don't have to hit it super straight on the front 9. It's a little bit more forgiving. You get to the back 9, it's much more tree lined. Again, a lot of elevation change on this golf course as well. Greens are significantly smaller, meaning you're placing a premium on your second shot ball striking. And same Bermuda grass fairways, bent grass greens. I will say that the conditions there, I will give the nod to Salem Glen. I would give the nod to Meadowlands on the design. But my favorite hole out there, I don't know if this would be considered their signature hole or not. It's just my favorite one where you're playing it. I tend to be out there playing in member guest, and so it's a lot of match play. It's a great match play hole. It's gonna be 14. It's a fairly, it's a very reachable par 5 because you hit downhill. You can land it on the downslope. If you really catch one, I've gone in there with as short of a club as an 8-iron before, but you're coming over a ravine. So if you don't clear that gully, it's in the hazard, you're gonna have a really difficult time making par because that green is very difficult. It's pretty wide left to right, probably 35, 40 yards left to right. However, the depth of it, in different sections of the green, you really have about a 5 or 6 yard area where you can land it on and hold the green. So even if you've got an opportunity to get it on there in 2, it's no guarantee of birdie. 15 is also an incredible hole. Drive it over the water, you've got water right, you gotta come over the water again for your second shot. It's really demanding. Again, if I had to go ahead and give a nod to either golf course design, I would go ahead and give to Meadowlands. For the playability and the conditions, certainly gonna go to Salem Glen. Now, for your golf course membership options, At Salem Glen, you can go ahead and join as a full member, which can include your golf, your pool, everything like that. And when you go out there, you're just going to pay for your cart fee if you decide to take one. You don't need to, you can walk even on the weekends. And it's fairly reasonable over there. I don't want to quote prices because they change, year to year, but you should be in that $300 to $400 a month range. If we go over to Meadowlands, you have a couple different options over there. You can join as a monthly member, which is usually going to include 4 rounds of golf with your cart. And if that's all you're going to play, if you're a once a week golfer, that might be a great option for you. But if you want to join as a full member, you can go ahead and do that, and you'll get your yearly dues, which you can pay as a one-time fee or you pay monthly. Now at either golf course, you can always go ahead and pay as a daily fee because it's semi-private. It's not fully private, so the public is still invited out to either place. Now, so you might wonder, if it's open to the public, why would I join as a member? So by joining as a member, you get some perks. You're going to get opened up to the member tournament schedule, like your club championship, your member guest, your guest days where you can get reduced rates, men's leagues, women's leagues, all these different things, junior programs, stuff like that. As we jump into that, as far as the practice facilities and that, compare and contrast, you have full driving range at each place. They've both got a place to go ahead and chip and putt. Although I would say putting green is better over at Meadowlands, the chipping area is better at Salem Glen. And then when it comes to the teaching, that's where Salem Glen tends to shine. They've got their own instructor over there, that's all he does. He's got TrackMan, everything else, so they use a lot more technology. They're focused on the teaching, growing the game, a little bit more active junior program over there. So as we get into the teaching aspect of it and things like that, would certainly give that nod to Salem Glen. Practice facilities as a whole, pretty level playing field there. All right, anytime you're settling into a community, especially a master plan community, which we don't have a ton of in our area, you want to know, what are the amenities like? So let's begin over at Salem Glen. At the clubhouse there, you also have a full bar and restaurant, which they can have banquets set up at, so you can get things catered in there and have that all taken care of for you. But you can get a nice dinner, go out on a nice little date night, and have all that taken care of there for you right there at Salem Glen. Nice amenities there. You also have the pool, tennis courts, things of that nature. And so if you want to just join as a social member, you can do that as well. For Meadowlands, there are amenities. You've got pool, tennis courts, basketball court, walking trails, lots of different things to do. Their big negative over there is no restaurant. You have we'll call it a turn house in the clubhouse where you can get sandwiches, hot dogs, beer, chips, things like that, but you can't really get a proper meal. So that is like one of the biggest glaring opportunities, I would say, for Meadowlands itself, is the opportunity to put in a restaurant, because you've got 700 plus homes. You have people who would certainly take advantage of it, and there's not a ton of restaurants right around the golf course itself. So when I'm going ahead and comparing and contrasting the amenities there, you also have community playgrounds and such, but I'm certainly going to give that one to Salem Glen, because I think having a dining facility within the community is a huge plus for them that Meadowlands is really, really sorely missing the mark there. So that one is obviously going to go to Salem Glen. So this is a real estate show, so let's talk about our housing options in both communities. We're going to get started over at Meadowlands. It is a master plan community, over 700 homes now. It's been being built out since the late 90s, so you have a wide variety there. You can get your larger lots with big custom homes on them, whether they're newer construction or they've been there for 25 years. You have a lot of options available to you. Eisenhower Homes, CG2 Homes, Phil Stroop Builders, third generation homes, they're building in those communities still. And so the new construction is going to be a possibility for you, which you kind of miss that a little bit over at Salem Glen. But within that, we have a wide variety of homes available to us as well, besides just new construction versus older homes. You can come in there and get into like the Highlands area, which has some townhomes available to you that overlook the golf course. You're going to start in the upper 300s for something like that, to the low 400s. And then if we go all the way to the top end to like Old Heritage, which has 1 acre lots in some of the areas overlooking the golf course, both on the 14th hole of par 5 and the 15th hole right after it. Those homes are going to generally be in that $700 to $800, $850 range, which if you go nuts on a custom built home, you can certainly spend more on that depending on the builder that you choose, the quality of the finishes you decide to put in, and more. So you can really do kind of whatever you want, so long as you're making sure that you're within the community guidelines. You also have, Eisenhower Homes has been building a lot of patio homes in there in the last 5 to 6 years and a little bit longer. Really, I guess it's been about 10 years or so, but Eisenhower's been one of the most popular builders in there, certainly for the last 5. So they're patio homes. What are they sort of really building towards there? The 50 plus community, there's no section of the neighborhood where you have to be 55 plus to get into it. But the patio homes, if you don't want a townhome, you don't want to share a wall, but you do want something where your lawn is potentially maintained for you within the HOA. You've got a nice little fire pit area out back. You can also have a screened-in patio, can be right on the golf course, can be set off of it, depending on where you purchase the lot. That's a very, very popular option, usually from 1,600 to 2,600 square feet is sort of their bread and butter in that sort of home. And you know, price points there are usually going to be upper 4s to low 6s is really going to be where the sweet spot is for those type of homes. Your overall HOA is going to be about $500 a year, plus or minus. That's for the general community. Now, if you ended up in an area with like a townhome or a patio home where they're going to go ahead and maintain the exterior of your home and do the lawn care in that for you, that's certainly going to bump it up because you're going to have an additional monthly fee. Now let's go ahead and jump over to Salem Glen. The construction of the home is going to be very similar. You're going to have all brick in most areas of either community. You're also going to have your small townhomes, patio homes available within Salem Glen as well. What you're lacking there is a lot of new construction opportunities. There's a couple of, you know, one-offs here and there where there's a lot or two left, but for the most part, that community is built out. So most of the time, if you're buying within Salem Glen, it's going to be a pre-existing home. Now, they do have some fantastic, large custom-built homes right there on the golf course, on both the front and the back 9, where you can go 6,000 plus square feet if you want to. So your price ranges there, again, are going to be starting around $400 for your townhome, patio home option. And then on the higher end, you know, if you get a 6,000 square foot home with a walkout finished basement right there on the golf course, you can certainly pay over $1 million depending on the condition, updates, and things of that nature. So very similar communities in the quality of construction in a lot of different ways. I would give the nod, if you're looking for new construction, to Meadowlands because those options are still available. If you're going to be buying in Salem Glen, there's newer homes, but not a whole lot of new construction. So the other unique thing about Salem Glen is that you could be in either Forsyth County or you could be in Davidson County, depending on where you are, you know, which entrance you're closer to within the community. And so that's going to be different tax structures, different school systems. So if you're buying in that community, make sure you're working with somebody who's aware of that. And where do you want to be? Do you want to be in Forsyth County? Do you want to be in Davidson County? And is it within the school districts that you're hoping for your children, grandchildren? Just be aware of it when you're searching within Salem Glen. So when we're talking about real estate, we're always talking location, location, location. So we're going to go ahead and compare and contrast both of these communities to their proximity to downtown Winston-Salem. Salem Glen is located within Clemmons on the border of Forsyth County and Davidson County, as we mentioned. To get to downtown Winston-Salem, it's a pretty easy drive, about 15 minutes, either whether you're taking the highway or the back roads. 2 different ways to get there, both can be about 15 minutes, but you're only about 5 minutes from downtown Clemmons. In downtown Clemmons is going to have all the shopping, restaurants, gyms, YMCA that you can really need in your day-to-day life. So unless you really just feel like going into downtown Winston-Salem, you don't necessarily have to leave Clemmons. You've also got Tanglewood Park, which I think is a huge plus. Tanglewood's an amazing area over there. Now, if you're coming from Meadowlands, it's about 15, maybe even 20 minutes to get to downtown Winston, right off of Highway 109 in Wallburg. So a little bit further, but you're also closer to High Point too. High Point's about 20 minutes as well. So you have different options to go into. Kernersville's about 15 minutes. So lots of different areas you could go check out. But as we mentioned, being no restaurant within Meadowlands, we're also kind of sorely lacking for a lot of really good, vibrant nightlife options and food options in and around Meadowlands itself. So if you're looking for a good date night, you're probably gonna have to go into either Winston or High Point to do one of those things. So our nod here based on location is gonna go to Salem Glen just because of the amount of things that are closer to you and closer to your home. I don't mind driving 20 minutes or so, but for some people who really want to be a little bit more connected to everything that's going on in their day-to-day life, Salem Glen's going to be the better option for you. So there you have it. We've gone ahead and compared and contrasted Salem Glen and Meadowlands, two very similar communities, but also have their own pros and cons. Let me know which one are you. Are you Team Salem Glen or Team Meadowlands? Which place would you see yourself living in? If you're curious about Winston-Salem, not golf course communities, anything that has to do Winston-Salem, give me a call, 336-582-9210, or shoot me an email, joel@sandmanrealtync.com. I appreciate you checking out another episode of Driving Triad. You wanna play, hit me up. Good luck out there on the links.